The quiet exit. There was still lipstick on the coffee mug she'd left on the kitchen counter. A bright coral shade. One she hadn't worn since last spring, back when we still laughed over silly movies and stayed up too late sharing plans for the future. I couldn't stop staring at that mug while the microwave hummed behind me, heating up the leftovers she'd left in neat containers, her neatly folded note taped just above the clock display. That note wasn't new to me anymore. I'd read it so many times I didn't need to glance again. Don't touch me today. I'm too overwhelmed. Overwhelmed. That word had become her fortress. A wall she built higher every time I asked a question that cut too close to something real. She used it as a shield, a deflection. It was the word she clung to when I asked about us, about the growing cold between us. And every time she said it, I'd retreat, like a stray dog left shivering behind a locked door, waiting for a sign of mercy. That morning I called in sick to work. I told them it was my stomach, but it wasn't. It was my head, my chest. My entire body felt wrong, disconnected. I walked aimlessly through the neighborhood for hours, seeing the same old dog limping down the sidewalk 3 times. An old brindle boxer, dragging his left foot, wearing a too tight collar. The 3rd time we crossed paths, he glanced at me like he recognized me, like he was asking, "Still lost, huh?" And then he hobbled away with more purpose than I could muster. When I finally came home, she was gone again. No text, no call. Only the faint scent of her on the pillows and silence lingering in every room. That night, I crossed a line I swore I'd never touch. I checked her second phone. She never even tried to hide it well. It sat beneath the kitchen sink, tossed carelessly behind the cleaning supplies like a dirty secret she didn't fear I'd find. My hands trembled as I unlocked it. Yes, I already knew the passcode, of course I did. I wasn't ready for what I saw. The messages weren't harmless flirtations. They were deep, well-worn trails of intimacy stretching back months. She called him by pet names she once whispered to me. Honeycomb, the name she'd invented for me on our first trip to the mountains. She called me clingy in those texts, described me as a damp towel she couldn't seem to shake off. She told him I felt like a chore she kept postponing but couldn't avoid. I thought I'd throw the phone, mash it, scream. But I didn't. I just stood there numb. Then I walked to the shower and let the hot water run over me until it pooled at my feet, carrying whatever pieces of me it could wash away. By dawn I was gone. I didn't slam the door. Didn't even shut it fully. I walked out with a small backpack and whatever sliver of dignity I still had left. On the kitchen counter I left my own note, creased, folded, tucked where she'd find it. No more us. Goodbye. No explanation. No begging. Just the truth, plain and final. I didn't know where to go. I ended up at a laundromat on the edge of Carson Street, watching my clothes spin in circles while my mind unraveled beside them. No one looked at me twice. No one asked why my hands were shaking. And for the first time in years I realized I didn't need her permission to breathe. The worst part wasn't the note on the microwave or the second phone, or even the cruel words she'd written about me. No, the worst part was how utterly unsurprised I was. The silence between us hadn't been a passing season. It had grown roots, deep ones. I'd kept hoping it was just a cold spell, something we could thaw out with time. But she'd already left me long before her body walked out the door. I found a small apartment 3 towns over. Furnished, cheap, anonymous. Vince, the landlord, was an old man with tired eyes and a keyring full of brass keys. He didn't ask questions. He just handed me the lease and said, month to month. No parties. No noise after 9. Perfect. The apartment echoed with every step I took. I unpacked what little I had. 2 shirts, my laptop, a razor, and an old photo of us at Devil's Bluff, smiling under a sky so blue it seemed impossible now. I stuffed that photo in a drawer. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even heartbroken. I felt hollow, like I'd been carved out and left behind as a shell of myself. That night, I ate takeout on the floor, no TV, no distractions. Just the buzzing of a broken streetlight outside. I reread those texts again. Not to punish her this time, but to remind myself it was real. She'd mocked the man who ironed her work clothes at midnight, who cried at movies, who loved her too much. I started typing a text to her. A brutal one. A message meant to cut deep. But I stopped halfway. She wouldn't care. Or worse, she'd twist it. Paint me as the unhinged, dramatic one. I deleted the draft and instead texted my boss. I need a few more days off. He replied in seconds. Take the time you need. No questions. That's when it hit me. No one was coming to save me. No one was going to drag me back from this. And she wasn't going to come knocking, begging forgiveness. She was probably curled up with him that very night, gloating about how free she finally felt. I lay on the bare floor with no pillow, staring at the ceiling. I tried to remember her voice, the way she used to say my name with warmth. But I heard nothing but silence. And, for the first time, I didn't want to fight it. The next day was quieter, but not in a comforting way. It was loud with the absence of everything unspoken. My back ached from the hard floor, and I found an old plastic fork stuck to my thigh from the takeout container I'd passed out next to. I checked my phone, nothing. No messages from her. No missed calls. No one asking where I'd gone. I drafted another message to her. Hope you're okay. But halfway through I stopped. I didn't hope she was okay. I didn't wish her harm, but I no longer cared whether she got enough sleep or whether her lunch got stolen at work. I deleted the message and tossed my phone across the room. It spun to a stop like a dying coin. That moment, it felt more honest than anything I could have texted. But then, out of nowhere, she finally texted me. When are you coming home? No, I miss you. No apology. Not even a question mark. Just a demand. I stared at it for 20 minutes, pacing the room. I remembered that look in her eyes 4 days before I left, when she came home late reeking of that vanilla body spray she never wore for me. I remembered the way she said I hovered like a moth. I replied with 3 words. I'm not coming. Her answer came fast. You're being dramatic. That was it. That message shattered whatever lingering grip she had on me. All those years I'd played the quiet husband, the steady one, the safe one. Now, the first time I drew a boundary, I was the villain. I was dramatic. That's when I laughed. Not from joy, from something darker. A hollow, bitter laugh that echoed in my empty apartment. Because this is how it always ends, isn't it? The quiet ones are called unstable the moment they stop accepting scraps. I let myself feel every ounce of it after that. No numbing. No rationalizing. Just grief. Raw, sharp, heavy. I told myself, this is what it feels like to mourn someone who's still alive. By nightfall I'd made my decision. No more ties. No more chances. I changed my phone number the next morning. She'll call it petty. She'll spin it however she wants. But I know why I left. I didn't leave because of a note taped to a microwave. I left because she wrote it without hesitation. 'Cause she meant it. Now I write my own notes. Tiny reminders taped to my mirror. Don't let her rewrite the story. You were always enough. This silence is yours now. Fill it with something better. I don't know what that better looks like yet. But I'm ready to find out.